They say the calm man is peaceful. They are wrong. The calm man is calculating, waiting, observing. He knows that silence can do what shouting never will. It unsettles the soul. You've seen it before. In the room where tempers flare, one man stays still. His eyes don't move. His voice doesn't rise. Everyone else burns with emotion, but he remains untouched. And suddenly, his stillness becomes louder than their noise. That is the moment power changes hands. Calmness is not weakness. It is control disguised as serenity. It is the ability to stand in the center of chaos and look unmoved, not because you feel nothing, but because you understand everything. In ancient courts, this art was survival. When kings raged, when advisors plotted, the one who stayed calm outlived them all. Emotion was currency. Reaction was betrayal. Those who reacted revealed fear. Those who stayed still became the mystery everyone feared. Let me ask you, what do people fear more? The man who screams, or the man who watches in silence while others unravel? Calm is not a virtue. It's a weapon. It denies your enemies the satisfaction of seeing your nerves tremble. It starves them of control, because control lives in reaction. And the moment you react, you hand them the key to your emotions. And once they have that, they own you. You must learn what rulers once knew. Calmness terrifies the emotional. When they throw words meant to wound, and you don't flinch, they begin to crumble. Their mind turns inward. Why isn't he reacting? Did I fail? Is he planning something? That's the point. You turn their own insecurity into your fortress. In the game of power, emotions are noise. Calmness is the silence that commands it. Think of the Roman Senate. When betrayal ran like blood through marble halls, it wasn't the loudest voices that ruled. It was the ones who spoke least, the ones whose expression never shifted. Men like Augustus knew that power was best exercised in whispers, not roars. You must understand, calmness is theater. When you are calm, you're not showing indifference. You're showing dominance in disguise. You're telling the world, your chaos cannot touch me. That message echoes louder than any display of anger ever could. But to achieve this kind of calm, you must first master your inner storms. You cannot fake it. The eye that trembles, the tone that cracks, these betray you. Real calm is built from understanding your triggers, dissecting your fears, and weaponizing your restraint. When someone provokes you, pause. Feel the emotion rise, but do not move. Let them think they've reached you. Then deny them proof. The human mind hates uncertainty, and nothing is more uncertain than a man who refuses to react. History has proven this. When Bismarck negotiated, he didn't overpower his rivals with anger. He overpowered them with patience. He listened while they revealed their strategy through passion. Then with precision, he spoke. One sentence, one decision, and the game was over. His calmness wasn't politeness. It was warfare. Even in personal life, the same law applies. Argue with someone emotionally fragile, and watch how your silence dismantles them. They'll accuse you of arrogance, of coldness, of manipulation, all because your calmness exposes their lack of control. They don't fear your words. They fear your composure. You must learn to use this fear. When people can't read you, they imagine you're more dangerous than you are. Their imagination will do the work for you. Let them fill the silence with their own paranoia. Because when they do, you win without lifting a finger. Ask yourself, how many times have you lost power simply because you reacted too quickly? How many times did anger make you predictable? Every reaction is a confession. Calmness, on the other hand, is an interrogation without words. To master calmness is to make emotion your servant. You decide when to appear angry, when to appear pleased, when to appear indifferent. You play emotion as an actor, not as a victim. Remember, the calm man sees everything. He studies weights and moves only when the outcome is already decided. Do not mistake this for passivity. It is the highest form of control, the art of letting others burn, while you remain the only one who can breathe. And that, my friend, is emotional danger. But calmness is only the surface. Beneath it lies something far more lethal, detachment. Because when you no longer need the reaction, when nothing can pull you from your center, you don't just appear dangerous. You become untouchable. To understand that We move to the next truth: emotional detachment as power. You've been taught that to feel deeply makes you human. But the truth is, those who feel too deeply become slaves to those who feel less. Emotional detachment is not coldness. It is clarity. It is the art of watching chaos without being swallowed by it. It is a discipline to observe your own emotions as if they belong to someone else, to analyze them, not obey them. The world worships passion. It tells you follow your heart, to speak your truth, to express every impulse as if it were divine. And yet look around. Who rules? The ones who are loud and emotional, or the ones who can stay calm while others lose their minds? Detachment is the unseen crown of power, because when you detach, you no longer chase outcomes. You create them. You are not desperate to be liked, understood, or validated, and that alone makes people bend toward you, because human nature is drawn to indifference. Why? Because indifference is power. The one who doesn't need anything holds the advantage over those who do. When others crave approval, you stand apart. When they beg for attention, you withdraw. And in your silence, they project value onto you. Consider the rulers of history. Caesar's charisma drew crowds, but it was his composure and betrayal that made him immortal. He saw loyalty and treachery as parts of the same coin, useful until they weren't. He detached from affection because affection blinds judgment. He understood that love makes men foolish, but detachment keeps them calculating. You see, detachment does not mean you feel nothing. It means you choose when to feel. You turn emotion from a reflex into a weapon. When others scream, you decide if the situation even deserves a heartbeat of your energy. When they love you, you weigh whether that love serves your purpose or traps you in theirs. That is the essence of control, because every emotional connection creates a string, and the more strings you attach to others, the easier it becomes for them to pull you. So you must ask yourself, how many people could control you right now, simply by withdrawing affection, attention, or respect? How many invisible strings move your actions, your words, your mood? Most people live as puppets. They confuse attachment with loyalty and dependency with love. They give their emotions freely and wonder why they feel powerless. But the detached mind sees the game and plays it without being played. Imagine a man in negotiation. His rival raises his voice, tries to provoke anger, desperation, anything to shake the mask. But he remains still, not because he lacks feeling, but because he has learned not to perform it. He knows that the first to lose composure always loses control. This is why emotional detachment is feared. It exposes people's weakness. They will call you heartless, arrogant, even cruel, not because you are wrong, but because they cannot manipulate you. They will test you, provoke you, accuse you of not caring, all desperate attempts to pull you back into their emotional battlefield. Resist it. Every time you stay detached, their power shrinks. They realize they cannot control your mind through guilt or approval, and that realization breaks them. The detached man is not without empathy. He simply understands timing. He knows when compassion serves strategy and when it destroys it. He can play warmth like a mask and coldness like armor. He does not feel less. He simply feels later. Detachment gives you the greatest advantage of all: perspective. It allows you to step back from the noise and see what others can't. When everyone reacts, you observe patterns. You see motives, fears, and the fragile architecture of their emotions. And while they drown in the tide, you control the current. The world will never admit it openly, but those who master detachment become magnetic. People sense strength in your distance. They confuse it for mystery, when in truth, it's discipline. They chase your attention because your absence feels like a challenge. They want to matter to the one who seems to need no one. Detachment makes you the prize, because what you do not chase chases you. So train your emotions like soldiers, not masters. Study them, command them, deploy them when necessary, but never let them rule your throne. The one who controls his emotions can lead armies. The one who is controlled by them can't even lead himself. Detach not from humanity, but from dependency. Detach not to avoid pain, but to use it wisely. Because once you are emotionally detached, you don't just survive manipulation, you orchestrate it. You no longer react to the world. The world reacts to you. But there's a sharper art beyond detachment, the mirror, where control no longer hides behind silence, but disguises itself as reflection. And that, my friend, is where true psychological mastery begins. The easiest way to control someone is to make them believe they are understood, not to dominate them, not to confront them, but to reflect them. Men trust mirrors. They look into them and fall in love with their own image. The mirror never argues, never resists, never criticizes, and that is why people speak to it without fear. If you wish to master influence, become that mirror. Reflect emotions. Don't reveal your own, because the moment you expose what you feel, you give others a map to your weaknesses. Think of every conversation as a battlefield. Words are weapons, expressions are tactics, and silence is intelligence. Most people enter these battles blind. They fight to be understood. They reveal too much, too fast. Thinking transparency earns trust. It doesn't. It only makes them predictable. True power lies not in being known, but in being studied while revealing nothing. Let others project their thoughts, beliefs, and desires onto you. Let them mistake your silence for agreement, your curiosity for loyalty. Because while they think you mirror them, you are dissecting them. History worships those who mastered this art. Queen Elizabeth I understood it perfectly. Surrounded by rivals and advisors who wanted her crown, she gave everyone what they wanted to see, a reflection of themselves. To the pious, she was devoted. To the soldiers, she was fierce. To the poets, she was beauty itself. And yet, she remained unreadable. They thought they knew her, but they only ever saw their own reflection staring back. That is the genius of the mirror. It absorbs everything, but gives away nothing. Ask yourself, how much power would you gain if people trusted you simply because they felt seen? How many arguments could you win if the other person thought you already agreed with them? That is psychological leverage, the invisible art of bending reality without resistance. The human ego is fragile. People crave validation more than truth. They seek reflections that flatter their self-image, not challenge it. So, give them what they crave. Let them feel understood, admired, even superior. Because the more they speak, the more they reveal. And the more they reveal, the more control you acquire. This is not manipulation for its own sake. It is strategy. To survive among the ambitious, you must appear harmless. To win among the emotional, you must appear understanding. But you must never become what you appear to be. When you reflect someone's emotions, you disarm their defenses. They lower their guard because they see themselves in you. They begin to confide in you, to explain themselves, to justify. And in their justifications, their truth spills out. The wise listen not to words, but to patterns. You must learn to extract power from every confession they think is casual. Do not mistake mirroring for imitation. Imitation is flattery. Mirroring is warfare. You are not pretending to be them. You are guiding them to expose themselves. A mirror doesn't change shape. It simply reveals what stands before it. Imagine an argument. They accuse, they demand, they provoke. You don't fight back. You reflect their energy. You nod. You repeat their emotions in their own words. I understand why you feel betrayed. And in that moment, they feel victory. They think you've surrendered. But what you've done is far more dangerous. You've taken control of the rhythm. Now, they follow your tone. They chase your calm. They justify themselves while you say almost nothing. This is the invisible power of reflection, the ability to rule conversation without speaking more than a few sentences. The mirror leads because it never competes. But there is a darker layer still. When people see themselves in you, they begin to crave your presence. They feel at peace near you because they mistake their own reflection for connection. They'll seek your approval, your attention, your closeness, not realizing you've given them nothing but their own echo. And yet, to play this game, you must stay detached inside. If you start believing the image you reflect, you lose control. You must never confuse empathy with attachment. You must never forget that your calm face is not who you are. It's your armor. So learn to listen like a strategist, not like a friend. When they reveal emotion, ask questions that lead them deeper. When they seek comfort, Give understanding, not truth, because truth wounds but reflection seduces. Remember this. The world doesn't want authenticity. It wants validation. Give them what they crave, and they will give you what you want. The mirror does not need to shout. Its silence conquers louder than any voice. But beware, there is one power even more dangerous than reflection, a force that turns silence itself into dominance, a presence that infects minds not through what it shows, but through what it hides. That, my friend, is a fear of the unpredictable, and it changes everything. The most powerful man in any room is the one no one can read. Predictability is weakness. Once people can predict you, they can prepare for you, plan for you, and play you. But when you become unpredictable, when no one knows what you'll do next, you become a threat that lives inside their mind. Fear is not born from power alone. It is born from uncertainty. A lion is feared not because it roars, but because you never know when it will strike. The same principle governs human psychology. When your emotions, reactions, and decisions cannot be anticipated, people hesitate around you, and hesitation is control. You must learn to become unreadable, not by acting erratic, but by acting deliberate in ways others cannot decode. Let them think they understand you, then break the pattern. Let them think they've won, then turn calmness into chaos, silence into dominance. In politics, in love, in war, the unpredictable man dictates the rhythm. Others adjust to him. Consider the way emperors held their courts. They were never transparent, never entirely consistent. One day merciful, the next ruthless. Their subjects learned to fear the possibility of punishment more than punishment itself. It was never about violence. It was about expectation. Humans crave patterns. They feel safe when they can predict behavior. So when you defy their expectations, you break the illusion of safety. They begin to tread carefully around you, afraid that one wrong move might awaken something dangerous. That fear is a throne. When Caesar faced the Senate, he didn't shout or threaten. He smiled, even in betrayal. He moved as if he already knew the ending. That calm unpredictability, the ability to remain composed when others expect fury, is what made him larger than life. Men don't fear the loud. They fear the quiet that might explode. Ask yourself, what do people expect from you right now? Do they think you'll forgive easily? React quickly? Explain yourself every time you're questioned? Then that is your weakness. They're mapped to your behavior. Destroy that map. Become unreadable in both emotion and action. When they think you'll break, stay calm. When they think you'll stay silent, speak sharply. When they expect kindness, offer calculation. When they expect war, offer nothing at all. Predictability makes others comfortable. Unpredictability makes them cautious, and caution slows their power. This is how you win without confrontation. You make others fight ghosts, not realities. They'll waste time decoding your intentions, second-guessing your motives, overanalyzing every silence. And in that overthinking, they weaken themselves. You're no longer just a person. You become a presence, something that lives rent-free in their mind. They will avoid provoking you, not because of what you've done, but because of what you might do. That is true psychological dominance. You see, fear of the unpredictable is not about being reckless. It's about controlled mystery. It's about being stable enough to inspire respect, and strange enough to inspire fear. You walk the line between calm and chaos, and no one knows which side of you they'll meet. Napoleon mastered this. His enemies described him as unpredictable not because he was wild, but because he was strategic in ways no one expected. He changed his pace, his plans, his tone, just enough to make opponents miscalculate. The result? They spent more time reacting to him than acting for themselves. You can do the same, even in daily life. In relationships, never let people predict your emotional rhythm. Don't always respond instantly. Don't always forgive or argue or explain. Keep them guessing which version of you they'll face, the warm or the cold, the kind or the cruel. They will adjust their behavior to maintain your favor. At work, the same rule applies. If they think you crave approval, they'll exploit you. If they think you don't need it, they'll respect you. And if they can't tell which is true, they'll fear you. The unpredictable man doesn't show his hand. He reveals only fragments, enough to keep others uncertain. He speaks less, acts slower, and moves with intent. Because every pause feels calculated, every silence feels dangerous. Remember this. Fear is rarely about what people know. It's about what they don't. When they cannot predict your limits, they will never test them. When they cannot read your heart, they will never play it. And when they cannot control your emotions, they will build their world around your mystery. That is how empires are ruled without swords. That is how respect turns into reverence, and reverence into fear. So, do not strive to be liked. Do not strive to be understood. Strive to be unpredictable, because the man who cannot be anticipated cannot be controlled. And yet, unpredictability is not the end of power. It's only its beginning. Power was never about force. It was always about perception. To control people, you don't chain them. You guide their emotions while hiding your own. You make them believe they act freely, while every choice leads exactly where you intended. Control is invisible. It moves through calmness, through silence, through the illusion of understanding. You reflect their desires, detach from their noise, and remain unpredictable enough to haunt their certainty. That is how rulers are made, not by shouting commands, but by shaping the minds that obey them. So ask yourself, do you want to be understood or obeyed? Do you want to react or rule? Because those who master emotion, reflection, and unpredictability don't just survive human nature. They command it. Now it's your turn. Comment your thoughts below. How do you wield control without revealing it? Subscribe for more Machiavellian lessons in strategy, psychology, and power. And share this video. Because true influence spreads quietly, one mind at a time. Because when mystery evolves into myth, fear transforms into influence. And that, my friend, is where true dominance is born.